Nathan is advancing to the next round. So our semifinals, just so you guys know, our semifinals are Alex and Brad, and George and Nathan.
Yes.
So, welcome back, Justin. Justin,
I'm a loser.
Very briefly, how did your round go?
Same as it went, round 6 in the first, yesterday.
Oh, that's right. That was your one
My
loss.
one loss became my second loss.
Oh, that is most unfortunate. Depriving us of your ability to repeat your win. Depriving us of the viewers of your ability to repeat your win over Nathan.
So Nathan's one loss is now out of the tournament.
That's right. Nathan needs to buy George a beer or something. I don't.
His deck, it's got 3 unlocked gateways. It's got Carpet Flotsam to follow that up. So anytime I tried to develop any sort of board, it was just gone. I almost never got to reap in the game. I think I got to reap one turn. He allowed me to. And then I went up to 10 Ember to threaten, and he played 2 Ronnies.
Most unfortunate.
And that was pretty much the swing that I couldn't come back from.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't develop a board. My deck really wants to have logos guys on the table.
Yeah.
Because all my logos, I have 2 directors, 3 Titan Librarians, Hex Beyond, and an Archimedes. So I want to just develop my archive, and then knowledge is power for big boosts.
Makes sense.
But if I don't have a board, I can't let those logos guys sit there and generate that value.
Board in AOA. I mean, it's obviously a thing, but it's even more of a thing than. I mean, obviously there are a lot of decks in Coda that just don't really care about board at all.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are board threats in Coda, but it doesn't care about board at all. We're gonna turn
do
all our
Nathan versus
George.
Who is my loss? George is the only one who has not been on stream during the tournament in the top 4.
Okay.
So we're going to get his deck featured a little bit. I think it's very interesting. It plays on a different axis because he never wants to have creatures on the board ever.
Interesting.
The only creature he ever played against me that stuck was a Ronnie.
Well, so if he never, so this is a real problem for George if he doesn't want to have anything on the board because then drummer not. I'm going to talk a little quieter now that the people at the tables next to us, but the drummer not combo is going to do some real damage.
And just generosity, like doing whatever it wants to do. I think.
Right, but
the problem is that Nathan wants to Hypnotic Command to stop keys. Hypnotic Command in his March turns. It's Hypnotic Command or March needs.
Oh, I see.
So if
he has literal no creatures on board, but he really only just eats the.
So he actively tries not to have creatures at the end of his turn.
Right. So then in all likelihood, what'll happen is that drummer not combo becomes the star of the show.
Could be, but then Nathan's got trouble stopping keys.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
We'll see.
And he does generate a lot. He's got a lot of Amber Pips.
It's true.
So it'll be interesting. I don't know how it's going to go.
We will see. Everyone's congratulating you in chat for making top 8. A very, very, very good accomplishment for sure.
I'm happy that I got top 8, Nathan's top 4 at least, so I feel like it's a pretty good showing for us. I'm happy to come here and represent. And maybe if Nathan wins, we can get a chair.
Do you have one? Is all of your amber shards in? Oh, a chair.
A chair.
Okay,
not
that's.
a table.
Oh yeah, I was trying to think. Are you pooling your amber shards or whatever?
All right, so we'll hide the camera.
Yes, no, absolutely. Get it a chair. I'm told they're hard at work working on prototypes on that chair. I've heard from. I know a couple people on Reap Out have ordered the chair. Dave ordered a chair. So they're in. I guess they didn't anticipate people ordering it this soon. So they're grafting up prototypes, and he's been promised a prototype soon, I believe.
Top 8 plus
top 8 is 100. 150 for top 4, 300 bonus for runner-up, 500 bonus, and this is just a solid, like a flat bonus on top of what you already have. No win points for winning any of the rounds. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick before we start this.
I should get a water. It's gonna be an hour and a half.
You're coming around? It was like a straight shot. So 910. Oh, I bumped Dave down. Where are you up to? Oh, still, I should be either tied for 11th or above him. I'm not sure. They shorted me at 5 guys.
Doing good? Oh, what?
I'm out. Yeah. Top 8.
Just top 80. Okay. With Eric.
But puts me into 12th place.
Always doing good. Sealed.
Yeah. Archon, I was top 32.
Okay.
And then 1 in top 18.
The one arm. The one for ceiling? Yeah. Can I see it? It does sound fun. Yeah.
Even more so supporting.
Of course. Need the combo. Oh, so do you want to do that? Oh yeah, we could. Okay, give me a sec. Man, this is pretty good. Okay. Yes. The only thing I could think of is if you had like the bread, the life for life, and too much or something. Just to go.
So I had too much check one, and I had minus.
Oh.
So if I had
Yeah.
like pseudo break.
Yes, pseudo break.
Oh, it's there was no getting out.
Okay.
Alright, we're back.
Alright, that's all.
Alright, I need to talk. I gotta get my golf voice ready.
Okay, so
Day one player count was 96 players, I think.
Yeah. And just as a reminder to those of you just joining us, the outer tables, the outer table, only one table because this is semifinals. Alex Carroll and Brad Minning? Forgive me, Brad. Can't pronounce your last name. Alex and Brad are playing in the other table for a berth in the finals against the winner of this match. Semis and finals are best of 3 games.
Did you cut these DBs down?
I turned them down because I'll turn them back up because when we were talking at normal volume. We're not doing it because we're gonna be talking a little bit quieter this particular round because again they're 12 feet behind us.
Yes, it would be very golfy.
Announce a golf shot, yes.
So the other matchup in the top 4 is a rematch from round 6 yesterday on the stream. So
Oh yes.
if you wanted to go back and see what could be happening in
That's
that
right.
game, you can watch that game.
So you can watch
From yesterday.
watch the rematch. Yes.
So George was my loss. We'll see how Nathan can perform against the same deck that destroyed me twice.
Now you were saying earlier so that well actually we're gonna get intel on the deck lists.
Oh, we got deck lists? Oh,
Our man in the field Grant
nice.
is hooking us up. So who got first player here?
Looks like Nathan plays. Is that Game G?
That does appear to be Game G.
I'll
So
expand our
where's-
window a little bit.
Let's see. So this must be George's deck because this is not Brobnar. Got it.
Yes, that is indeed. I recognize those 3 unlocked
George,
gateways.
yeah, George's deck has 3 unlocked gateways, 2 not finished with you. This is a bit of anti-synergy with that many gateways, but certainly he's going to be able to handle board pretty
And you
well.
would think that, but his deck handles them very well.
Well, I just meant in terms of if you draw multiple
Yeah.
ones in the same hand. But yeah, but like if
he
you
does
don't
have
don't
the-
care about board, then they works out
I
rather
think
well.
he mulligans for the Library of the Damned to try to like.
Oh
get
yeah,
him away.
I have several decks where I mulligan for the Library of the Damned.
So
It
George
is
plays
so good.
a combat pheromones. Is that what that is?
That is what that is.
And discards Foxum Spike.
Mm-hmm.
Plays it. Ganger Chieftain. Raise it. Reaps.
So we're gonna.
Okay, passes.
So immediately threatening from George's perspective. If he pops up with a drummer at any point in time, bad things are going to happen. So George knows that he needs to be aware of that.
But he doesn't know that he has a combo in his deck. Yeah, because they have not played.
Oh, okay, that's
So
fair.
George should be unaware,
Well,
theoretically.
that's fair. So and obviously legends of decks spread amongst the room. Like
That's
when
true,
Nathan
too.
opened, the legend of Nathan's deck is spread throughout the room. But even if he doesn't know that, in an unknown Brobnar set, when you start seeing multiple Ganger Chieftains
worrying.
in the semifinals, you should anticipate that it's very likely a German is coming near.
Absolutely.
Is coming soon.
So
thereafter.
George just drops Think Drone and a Mother Gun and passes. So George is sitting on 3 Amber right now and Nathan's at 1.
Gotcha.
Reboot Ganji. He's going to
Gamgee
gain
for
1
the
and
steal?
steal 1. Yep. That may be the first time this tournament Nathan's gotten that off. You mentioned yesterday
Right.
hit the board and
yeah,
dies.
Usually it does not. Discarding a bad penny, playing TMTP for Amber.
Yeah. And that's it. Draws 3 cards.
The way Nathan,
cards.
With Nathan's deck having the high average card value that it does, it makes sense a lot of the time to just play TMTP for Amber unless you are somehow behind or are setting up a particular play.
His general plan is to get to the Martian Generosity, draw his entire deck, and just have Too Much Protect in hand ready to go.
Yeah, that's seems good.
And he hasn't really needed that because of the Hypnotic Command.
No. Well, he didn't play Hypnotic Command last round. I just think because he didn't need to go back to Mars after he had he had the board control.
So he's going to read with Think Drone. Mars first.
First to
Ready and
with
read.
Think Drone, so we should have 2 more.
Oh, he fought.
he
He fought the Gamgee.
fought
And then
the
raided
Gamgee.
and fought the Gamgee.
I just got the one from Mars first.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. You probably want to get rid of Gamgee. Actually, I'm not sure that I would
Now
do
that he's behind, I don't know. But
Yeah, no, actually, no. I'm revising my statement. I'm not sure that I agree with that.
So Nathan plays Foozle and reaps twice.
Okay.
Goes to 6.
Well, that means he doesn't have Juggernaut in hand, I assume. Yep.
Just draws 1. I think he's just trying to get value out of his board as much as possible right now.
I mean, why not?
Swindle.
Swindle? Okay. So against Nathan's deck, who can generate Amber so quickly and so explosively, Swindle is a much
Swindle's
less
back.
effective card. I mean, it just doesn't.
The Swindle.
Yes, I see your Swindle and raise you a Swindle. That's funny. Okay.
George is thinking. The Swindle Wars, I know.
So what is he looking to do here? I mean, he's a concerning prop in our board.
So he's going to play Ronnie.
He's gonna play Ronnie.
Nerve Blast.
Blast.
Yep.
Steal 1 to deal 2 damage to.
Probably put it on Foozle if I were him. He might actually kill his own creature here. If he's trying to set up like an Exhume next turn, and then to unlock Gateway, he might kill his own Ronnie. But he put it on
It's
Foozle.
possible, but I think I'd put it on Foozle, and the reason why is because I would assume that your creatures aren't going to live very long, given Nathan's our position on the board. So
The damage on Foozle probably won't matter.
let Nathan do the work for you,
So
basically.
Nathan Nerve Blast to kill the Think Drone. To put him off the key. Or was he only at 4 Amber? It's hard to tell with the stacking.
Yeah, I think it's.
And he's gonna
I
Nerve
think it's
Blast
5,
again.
but I don't know. He's at 4.
Yeah.
It is hard when those things are.
So Nathan goes to 6 and passes. I think Nathan's just going to try to hit 6 every turn and try to forge that way.
Let me tell you, it's not a bad strategy, especially when your opponent has shadows and you don't. Presumably does not know his deck list.
Try to run him up answers is the idea.
Right.
Plays Library of the Damned.
So that library could come in handy throughout the match if he starts clumping up with gateways, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He would probably like to have one of those this turn.
Plays
Scullion
Scullion
to
and dies.
sack Scullion. Okay. Playing for the flavor.
He did it against me a lot. He has 2 Scullions on his deck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I meant versus just discarding.
Yeah, I don't know why. He just likes to sack it.
Yeah,
It's fun.
He likes to illustrate how ridiculous
Exhume,
Scullion is.
Ronnie.
Ronnie. Yep. So wait a sec. Unless he has Gateway here, I think the better play is to exhume the Ronnie and sack the Ronnie to the Scullion. I assume he has Gateway here.
It's hard to say. He actively tries to keep creatures off the board in his deck. That's his game plan, and it may not always be correct, but that's how he's been playing.
Well, that's a fair point, but you have to be adaptive.
I would agree with you.
Right,
Yes.
and also the utility of the Scullion here is that if Nathan happens to have Drummer not in hand, it at least makes him lose a lot of lose a lot of value.
Especially because he plays not finished with you. I would think you'd want to shuffle the Ronnie in after you play your Exhume.
Yeah, I would
Because then
absolutely
you
rather do that.
You could have exhumed Ronnie, played Scully, and sacked
Right.
Ronnie, and then not finished with you to shuffle it.
Chad's pointing out he may be intending to go Shadows this turn, but I still don't think the value of a Reap is as good as especially since he has things that can just do that. Like Brognar is going to have a lot of that. But like you put a Scullion on board, they have to sack 2 things to kill it. Right?
So Nathan reaps and gets a total of 4 amber from that, right? Yep.
Yeah, because he played First Blood first.
So he went to 10.
So that is an interesting play.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know that George has a TMTP, but it's so my philosophy is generally you can't play around unknown uncommons in most situations absent something on the fringe.
He's been mostly playing around Ronnie's, but he hasn't seen that too much to protect yet.
Yeah.
This might be a situation where that's something he's going to really keep in mind for next turn. The question is, can he too much to protect the next game?
Next game, yeah. Well, that is an excellent. He made that point when I was interviewing him after his match that a best of 3 gives you a lot of opportunities to find out what the opponent has game 1.
Plays Lominandra,
Steals
Lominandra,
Ronnie.
and plays Ronnie. So many Ronnies. You can definitely assume good uncommons.
You can assume that the frequency of good uncommons is increased, but given what Nathan's deck is, in terms of again, this is one of those things where in theory George doesn't know, but like.
He might.
I had heard rumors of Nathan's deck before I even played him round 1. So like,
He does love to talk about it.
right. Listen, if I opened that deck, I would hold a press conference, right? I mean, like, so I understand, and I do not fault him for that at all. So it looks like he oublieted the Ronnie, which is a real good play with all the recursion that George has.
Dust Chronicles archiving card. 3-2 amber right now. And ends turn, draws up to 3. Or draws 3 cards. George, we haven't seen any unlock gateways yet. Nathan's board has just been
That is
doing
interesting.
work.
So we're going back. We might see one here.
It's very likely, I think. So he's going to archive
he's
with
archive
archive
something.
with the library.
Presumably, I would guess
Yeah, I would
gateway.
think he's getting ready to gateway, very likely. But I think Nathan's ready to
Discarding
drop.
an Ember Imp, discarding Scullion, playing Unlock Gateway. Yep.
I think Nathan's ready to drop a big Mars turn next turn.
Right. So the problem with Unlock Gateway, I guess he got both Ganger Chieftains. I mean, he doesn't know exactly how many Ganger Chieftains he has. So you feel a little bit better when you're killing multiple Ganger Chieftains. But if for some reason you had a third, obviously, then you just cleared the board for him to go, nonsense. But you still do have to get rid of his board. Mars nonsense incoming, you said?
I think so.
Yeah.
Mother
Mother Gun,
It's almost time for that Mars nonsense, right?
I think we've reached that point in the match. Proliferator, Harvester, so that
Harvester, yep. Mars first.
Mars first.
Gonna ready and move with the Harvester, probably.
This is actually an interesting choice. What does he have in discard that he would want to pull? He doesn't have anything in Mars. But even non-Mars, what would he want to pull? Well, he has
You can only get Mars with Proliferator.
Oh, that's an excellent point. So we would have to have something from Mars. So you probably are harvesting here.
Yeah,
Especially if he's, does he have Generosity in hand? Did you see that?
I don't know. I think it would have been an easy choice to reap there with the Harvester.
For the Harvester, if you have
had
Generosity in hand,
So I don't think he did.
Well, except that, you might have, if you when he plays the Mars first, that's correct. He discards Hypnotic Command, as you referenced earlier. But if he had Generosity, then you might want to archive the Generosity, right? You would take the Generosity for less and then immediately archive it.
He would slam that Generosity.
Yeah.
I've seen Nathan play a Generosity. He just goes as high as possible.
Listen, I've only opened one of those in my life, and it's never been in a tournament, so
Yeah.
I can understand. I would play that.
Or
Floxen for death. Does he have any Amber Control on Mars? Because if not, he's going to hand Nathan a second. Well, not hand. He's going to allow Nathan to forge a second key.
Mars first.
To get some Amber, Reap, Pop. So it's weird. This match feels like it's not close to me, but it is.
It is close.
It is. I mean, it's close in the math, but knowing what Nathan has remaining in his deck, that's why I have the feeling as though it's not close. Because Nathan forges key 2. We have not seen the Chieftain. Sorry, we've seen both Chieftains. We've not seen the Drummernaut. We know there's a combo there. But we have also not seen Generosity, and Generosity is going to draw back into all these things.
I think Generosity will be enough to close out the game for Nathan, just to get to it and then get a big one.
Right. So he's got Drummernaut, and so it's a bad pull if he hasn't.
Yeah, he did discard the Squadron and the Killzord.
And he hasn't got Generosity yet, right?
He's not gotten Generosity.
Well, so that's unfortunate. that's making this match
But he might not need it.
pretty close. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
he
it's,
might not need it.
but the lack of generosity is making the match much closer.
Yeah.
As Nathan called it earlier, playing a fair game.
Your broken deck has to also play a fair game well.
Right. Your broken deck has to be good enough to survive when it doesn't break.
So I noticed with George is he has a game plan and he sticks to it no matter what. If something might work out for him next turn, he still never wants to creatures on the board. Like he just doesn't want to have creatures, and that's how he plays, and that's how he's gotten to this point.
So it's interesting
Right.
because Nathan has now played a drum out, so George knows he is the combo deck. So what will be very fascinating is no matter how game 1 ends up, how George adapts his play game 2,
Right.
knowing that there's a combo floating out
Do you
there.
leave Scullions out then? Because that hurts the combo a lot.
Yeah. Oh no, I would. If I'm George, I want to have Scullion on board a lot because that's one of the harder things to remove.
So we'll have to see in game 2 how he handles
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
If his decision stays the same. So he played too much to protect there, or was that
That's a life
life
for
for a
life.
life? Sorry.
Just for Amber. Yeah. He's
So he
drawing
goes to 6.
6.
I think he's got 6.
And
He might
again,
have- no, he's got 6.
Need to get in the habit of drawing cards face down.
That might be 7. I think it's 7 Amber.
This is best of 3, yeah. Semifinals and finals in Vault Tours these days in the post Yeti era, let's say, are
Post Cascade era.
post Cascade, but well,
The age of the
Yeti. The age of the Yeti. Yes, age of Yeti. In the age of Yeti era, Vault Tour semis and finals are best of 3, except for like Vegas, which was already best of 3 every round.
Was that the too much to protect?
That wasn't too much to protect.
So he played it to go to 8.
Yes, and then I don't know what happened.
Oh, he Merkins.
Oh, he
too much to
Merkins the
protect
TMTP.
and
Oh.
stole 1. Okay,
Well, that is pretty funny.
that's pretty good. It hurts him a little bit,
It does.
and he also gives Nathan that information without having to get hurt by it. It's
True.
big too.
Yeah, no, that's a really good hit. Nathan compensating for his bad draw RNG with some good Merkins RNG.
Yeah, he's very good at playing Merkins.
Merkins
I can
OP.
speak from experience
Yes, you've been Merkins. I do remember watching a particular video where it was what was Merkins, like a principal or something? Like it was
He
Merkins something off the top to kill
he
you.
was about to whistling guards. He's like, no, I should play Merkins first in case I get your Coward's End. And he
yeah,
plays it
and then
gets
he
the
cowards end. Yeah, that was right.
Yeah. He's very good at playing Merkins and getting a random card off the opponent's deck. That's good. Extremely high skill. So he's going to not finish with you. I think he's shuffling in his Ronnies to his very small deck. So he's guaranteeing getting back Ronnies next turn, most likely.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? So Chad's pointing out that like George's deck has seemed
But it just generates.
It seemed mildly
naturally.
clunky, but it still has remained competitive in this game. Wait, did he forge 2 keys and forget to flip? Oh, no, he
flipped,
did flip
yeah.
a key. Yeah, it's slightly off screen. That's why. Okay, so he's got 2. So listen, I mean, like, despite all of this, George is on 2 keys and 1 amber versus Nathan's 2 keys and 3 amber. Now, again, I think that large part of the reason why this match is currently close is Nathan hasn't drawn
I
generosity.
think Nathan's trying to figure out what is left in his deck right now, looking at his Archon card.
Yeah, he's like, in addition to generosity, what else is there?
George can't play around everything in Nathan's deck. He plays around Mars, needs Amber and Hawk, but he helps. Yeah, so if he does play Ronnie, Ronnie's gonna stick on the board a turn, and then it's probably gonna get Hypnotic commanded if Nathan can get to Martial Generosity.
True.
The problem is that does hurt his Generosity draw a little bit when Ronnie gets played.
So we're getting into the point of the match where considerations like that are relevant, but they run the risk of being what I call too cute, right? Because George is looking at Nathan being on 2 keys and 3 amber. I'm not saying that he's made it into plays that would be too cute, but like he can't really afford to do like long-term strategic plays. He's going to be in survival mode very quickly in this match because Nathan just needs to get 3 more amber and he's immediately in survival mode.
It's gonna be tough to get through those 2 Ronnies that are in his hand now, though.
I mean, I think if you're Nathan here, you're gonna want to, you're just gonna want to get to generosity,
I think you gotta get to
right?
Generosity.
You just gotta cycle cards no matter what the cards are
I agree.
as quickly as you can.
He wants to build a big Generosity where he's playing it almost every turn, because that will beat Ronnie's.
Right, but his generosity also runs a high chance of drawing into things like the TMTP again, of drawing into
Drummer Knock combo.
the drummer knock combo, of drawing into the hypnotic command that he discarded earlier.
He might need that TMTP to close out this game too.
Right. Bombardment for Amber, revealing no cards.
Generosity.
Oh, there it is.
So
Oh, he
10
has
cards.
it. Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
I didn't know he had it either. So he's going to draw 10. I think he was trying to figure out what he was going to draw off it when he was looking at his Archon card.
Right.
And then random, he can't really count on the rest of his discard
5,
pile.
6, 7, 8, and then he's only
Two
getting
cards
2.
from his discard, which isn't
So-
a lot.
It's not a lot.
If he hits Proliferator here, it's big, I think.
Yeah, I
because
think Proliferator.
Mars
Yeah,
first.
he
I think he
needs
has
to-
Mars first left in his deck.
And again, this is the benefit of playing a deck with such high average card value, is that there aren't going to be a lot of. I mean, there will be some draws out of this deck that will be less helpful than others, but there aren't going to be a lot of draws here that are bad.
Usually a lot of options for the
Yes.
next 2 turns. Gonna get a good thorough shuffle here.
Yeah.
We don't want to shuffle gate again. No more shuffle gates.
Shuffle what?
Shuffle gates.
Oh.
I know it's a switch.
Yes. Well, it's. I mean, I'm fine with me. It's just. It's like I 100% want everyone to shuffle properly.
I do
That's
too.
why this entire tournament I have encouraged strongly my opponents to spend more time shuffling my deck.
Yeah. All right. So post generosity. Let's see what anything put together. Sorting his hand. Working on a fair play
Yes.
initiative
Oh, so
document.
that is the thing that we're
Okay.
doing. So there's a group of people from across the community that we've kind of recruited to work on a document discussing like best practices for fair play. We grabbed random people from across the community, and we're going to be releasing a draft of that pretty soon. But it's I think it's good. Definitely should. We should run it by you guys.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely.
See what you would think as well.
Shockworm. I can't remember the name of that stupid worm.
Oh, that's I don't know. It's the thing that only deals 1 damage and stuns your opponent's
Stormcrawler?
creatures when they reap. So that, yeah, that's it. Stormcrawler. Yixlix something Stormcrawler,
Some dumb
whatever.
Mars
Yeah,
name. Discards containment field. Plays Mars Needs Amber just for the
I
Amber.
believe that's correct.
Plays Mars first.
Mm-hmm.
Ready Reap. To 3. Plays.
Stormcrawler. Oh, it's just Stormcrawler.
Was that
okay.
Hypnotic Command?
That was.
So he discarded Hypnotic.
Discard, so that's interesting.
That is interesting.
So he is. I'm
He's
guessing.
really anticipating
did he
not being
draw,
able to get
did
value
he-
out of that.
Well, the one possible reason for that could be that he has Drummer combo pieces in his hand. I'm looking as he's cycling through. I don't think that he does. He's a couple Brobnar cards, but I didn't see both of those.
It'd be pretty unlikely because the Gangers and the Drummernauts were in the discard pile and he was only drawing 2 cards from it, right?
Yeah, true, but I can't quite see. Just need him to hold his hand face up on the table. And then
George discards bad penny, plays Ronnie.
Okay.
Plays a Nerve
Nerve
Blast.
Blast to kill off the Shockworm, probably.
Yeah. To kill his own Ronnie.
Interesting. So why are you doing that?
Exhume, possibly. So you can exhume
Okay.
Ronnie on that gateway.
I guess that presumes he doesn't have Scullion in hand.
Yeah. Plays Bramo, plays
Rock-Crawling Giant
plays
and Lollop. Plays Blood of
Titans.
Titans. Okay, well. Both players approaching survival mode.
It's going to be tough. Actually, I think Nate's going to go overtime the rest of this game. Because he doesn't have a way to get that generosity back anytime soon.
Well, as long as he, well, so the discarding of Hypnotic Command is the question I would have, whether that was a correct move. Because if you don't think that, what other points of Amber Control does he have
So
in
I
deck?
think also he was anticipating his board being gone by the time he could use it, and it's still correct right now because George does not have any creatures on the board. So I do think it was actually the correct play, the way George plays. I think
Yeah,
you've seen that.
we'll see. I don't know. You are more familiar with George's deck than I am for sure. So
So he's going to exhume that Ronnie.
okay. But like my point was, what other bits of Amber Control does Nathan have access to?
No, I think it's too much protect Nerve Blast.
Right. So because of that, I would consider holding it because if you're anticipating this play, or if this is a
This is the
possibility,
gateway,
right? If this is a
And now
possibility.
Hypnotic Command is useless, right?
Well, okay, you're right. That's a fair point.
Because against Unlock Gateway board wipes, it is a garbage card. That won't get value.
So he does have Nerve Blast to take him off check 1. But the Gateway is very unfortunate
Dust
there.
Chronicles draws a card. Gamgee. And
Okay,
Gamgee.
so double Gamgee is real good here if he
Dice
doesn't
Spymaster.
specifically have an Unlock Gateway. I mean, you have to do it anyway, but
Yeah.
but it will work out if he doesn't have an Unlock Gateway.
He might have one in the archive.
That is the question. Archive is above discard off screen.
Okay.
That's why I saw him archive before. That's where it's written on the map. So that's
Yeah,
where
we don't have visibility into that.
I don't know how much he has in archive, but that's where it is.
Did my deck have? Yeah, I had Mars as well. I don't know. That might be his only play just against Mars, but I feel like the way he was playing, that's how he was playing all day.
Yeah.
And I think it's correct for his deck, actually, for the most part, barring adaptive situations.
Yeah.
Looks like George doesn't quite have a Windmill Slam play. Mind Worm. I've never seen him play that card.
Mind Worm.
I didn't know it was in his deck.
We got 5 strangers over
What is that? Mars first?
here. Just give everybody a mic.
March 1st. Mind.
Probably
the
gonna
mi-
kill a Gamgee and Dipno. Yeah.
Why did it? Oh, Spine Master. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's at 7 now.
He's at 6 just because of the Mars first so far. Yeah.
Is that? I'm trying to read if that's a number. Oh, that's
That's just
probably it.
yeah.
Oh no, he's at. He's Swindle.
Oh, okay.
That's actually very good.
Yeah, that's super good in this situation, I think. Because it'll put him at exactly 6.
Yeah.
And you know the rule. If you see a problem, stop
I
it.
don't know. Yeah, we
Well,
haven't seen anything
Yeah,
yet.
absolutely. Yeah, this has been pretty clean.
If you see a problem, stop it.
We'll do.
You got it.
You are deputized.
Okay, sweet.
Thank you, sir.
We're official.
That's right.
Keyforge
We've just been
deputies.
officially deputized by Vince to notify the table of any issues that we see. So if you see anything that we haven't mentioned in chat, any rules violations or anything, let us know. We will pass it along.
So yes, he does. do
Meanwhile,
this
Nathan does hit the swindle. And maybe we'll see Swindle Wars Part 2. I don't know what
be.
George has in hand.
one. Swindle Part 2, you're right.
Oh, he does?
He
Oh,
did.
was I right?
Yep, you
Swindle
were right.
Wars. Swindle Wars.
So that's back to 7? Yeah, it's back to 7. So Nathan's going to play a Merkins. This actually might be Nathan's only play here. Yeah, Nathan scoops it up. George takes game 1.
I will say I did not expect that result going in.
Yeah, I
So
was
Jordan,
worried about that.
Now I will say this. I will say, from the perspective of Nathan, that was close to the worst that his deck can do.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
He did not get generosity until the end of the game when he was on the verge of what I call survival mode. Right, where in terms of having to take your opponent off check every turn.
Mm-hmm.
So he did not get that till the end of the game. Obviously, the Hypnotic Command is real bad for Nathan in this matchup, given how George plays it. However, he never got the Drummond combo going at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, the thing with the gateway plays are... Alright, let's back up a second. Let me ask you, put yourself in Nation's shoes. You know what George's deck is now. You know what George likes to do. How do you alter your play in Game 2, if you're Nathan?
It's tough to say because I think Nathan was playing with that in mind because I talked to him about George's
Sure,
deck
sure,
yesterday
sure.
after I got beat by it, of
Right,
course.
right.
And about the way he plays. So he does know he has too much to check now. I don't think he had that knowledge before. So that's one major difference. So he might really stop himself from going super high. He only ever wants to go to 6. The problem is George is so good at stopping 1 Amber with Nerve
Yeah.
Blast and even Ronnie's, but you just don't want him to get the extra value. It's so hard to play against his deck.
I agree.
It's very hard. You got to get a big Marsh generosity going.
So, if I'm Nathan, what I think that I'm doing is obviously, the best plan, and I say plan in quotations, best plan is to draw Martian Generosity in an opening hand.
Yes,
I
just
would
go.
I would mulligan for Martian Generosity, but because I think what you want to do is, if I'm Nathan, I would wait until I have both pieces of the German combo in hand, perhaps even holding them for a turn, because you know he's got multiple gateways. I think he saw all the gateways.
Yes.
So, you know he has multiple gateways. You know he's going to gateway. So I would try to bait George into gatewaying and have the Drummer combo in
Follow up.
hand for instantaneous 5 Amber. And then if he has to gateway again, if he doesn't, after that happens, he either has to immediately Gateway 2, which is probably losing a lot of value for him because he just called Dis, or most likely allow you to get like 5 more Amber immediately. Like that's the run out that he wants.
Yeah, I do think Nathan drew his cards a little awkwardly that game.
Right, so he's gonna mull. He probably didn't have Generok. Yeah. Incredibly awkward. Like that was almost worst possible draw for this deck.
I'll be interested to see how this game goes. The interesting thing about George is he lost his first game of the day yesterday.
Yeah.
He fought his way to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is. Let me tell you. That's what I did in Vegas. In Vegas, I went 0-1 and then 5-0, and that is an incredibly difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Especially
common,
in sealed or Archon, right?
especially Seal or Archon, either one. But like,
Or, I'm sorry, Archon Triad.
yeah. But the common misconception is that like you're going to get better matches, and that may be true for like rounds 2 and 3. But from there on out, you're running the risk of hitting people who are undefeated and just lost one match, right? Just so like it's a very impressive accomplishment to win 5 games in any sequence, but winning 5 consecutive games in a vault,
It's very difficult.
yes.
Not to mention stressful.
Oh, just a little, like constantly being on like the edge of
like one play can
extinction,
end my day.
if you will. Yeah, like. All right, so we'll see if Nathan can.
Did he choose to go first or second? That's the question.
He mulled, and it looks like he is 6, so
Okay,
I'm
so he's
assuming he
going
chose to
first.
go first.
That's
I would
probably
do
correct.
that. I would do that too because you're mulling for a card. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're mulling for a good hand, but you're mulling for a good hand that ideally contains generosity. Okay.
Chieftain, pass. Or
Giant.
No,
That's
rock
Rock-Rolling
rolling
Giant.
Rock rolling giant.
Oh, that's pretty fun. I don't know that I would. I guess you kind of figure George's not going to waste a gateway of turn 1.
No.
But I guess you also assume you're not getting a lot of value out of Giant because you don't expect George to play creatures that stick on the board.
Right, so it's fine if he
yeah,
gateways it.
it's sure. Why not? Here's a Giant. Do what you will.
So Mind Warper.
Okay. So Mind Warper's interesting
And
because Mind
pass.
Warper wants to be on the board at least for more than one turn.
So Mind Warper pass was his second turn play, or his first turn play.
That is bizarre.
And best of 3
first
person you lost had to go first. I think they get a choice.
They
to
do.
Go first
They
or
do
second.
get a choice. The best of 3, the loser of the game not automatically. They get I was gonna say they automatically get a choice. That doesn't make any sense. They get a choice as to whether they go first or second.
Played Chieftain and Reaper Germinant and played First Blood. Okay. They're still playing at first table. We don't know how it's going. We could send a runner or something.
Yeah, we'll recruit someone to go over the first table in a minute. I'll keep there across the room. I'll glance them and see if I can.
So Nerve Blast does 2 damage to the Rock Rolling Giant. Steals an Amber. Plays Limindra. Plays Nerve Blast, number 2. He might kill his own Limindra. Yep. Okay. So he kills his own Limindra.
That is real interesting. And again, I don't know that I understand why he's doing that, but I don't know that I agree with that.
Well, he might have Carpet Flotsam in his hand or be trying to draw into Carpet Flotsam.
Yeah,
And Limindra's really
okay.
awkward to get rid of.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is, but it is insurance, and you've already seen the Drummer Knot, right?
Yep.
It's insurance against the combo. They
It's
at least
sort of. It just
Well,
it stops
it
with
would
2 Amber.
Right. It would right. So if you can trade it for 2 Amber, I think you do that most of the time.
Discards
But
Amber
he's got
and
he
unlock
so he
gateway.
had Gateway in hand. That's the reason why it didn't matter.
It's pretty much a negative attrition deck, yeah.
George's deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not my style of play,
No.
but I think it is different than most other. Oh, here we go.
Chieftain.
Chieftain. What is he doing?
Oh, he said Mars.
Oh, he said
meant to play
Mars
Broker.
accidentally. Yeah, fortunately, I mean, to me, like that's.
I say the wrong thing constantly.
Right, I normally would not allow like takebacks at this level, but that is
Yeah.
that's very clearly something that everyone I think would allow.
It's like the borderline dyslexia, especially this late in the tournament.
Oh yeah, no. Like that's if you say Mars and start playing Brobnar cards, then
Like, obviously,
yeah,
it's not what you meant.
yeah. No, that's pretty straightforward.
Is that Mars first?
Shatterstorm? What is that? I didn't see what the second card he played was.
Looks like it didn't do anything. Might have been Mars needs
Yeah,
Amber.
it doesn't appear to be
Yeah,
Shatterstorm.
just played him for Amber. Yeah, Brobnar seems like a call here. Unfortunately, he's only going to get 3 unless he's got something else.
Does he have anything else is the question.
Blood of the Titans. Okay,
Okay.
so that'll let him threaten. That's
Check
very
on
good.
Foozle. kind of forcing the issue. Do you want to gateway me again? Now, again, he's unfortunate here because
Swindle.
Swindle. He's unfortunate that he has both chieftains exposed to being killed here, just as a matter of card draw.
It's kind of
So
the same
he's going
situation.
to reap again
He's
for
gonna reap up,
Brownar.
and it's going to let George threaten. Or
It
it's going
is,
to Forge his
and
first
play
key.
Wallop. I think taking advantage of board is good.
It's
but,
important against him, yeah.
But it is a thing.
It's a bummer to lose the key that way, though.
Well, I don't know that he would have had a way to prevent the key from...
I think if he had a way to prevent, he would have, but so I don't think he did.
Right.
Nerve Blast.
George's deck is sneaky.
It's very sneaky.
It does. It plays in a way. This is what I was saying earlier. Like decks that play in a way that are not the way you would expect to have to deal with a deck are often very difficult to play against, and decks that don't care about board presence are very weird in AOA.
Yeah.
Right. They're not very common, and kudos to George for finding out the way to play this deck. Like the optimal way to play this
he
deck in
figured
a
it out.
sealed tournament.
Yeah.
Because that's not an intuitive thing. And especially in the face of like a board heavy deck like Nathan's deck. Sticking to this strategy, obviously he's won a game already, so he feels more confident, but still.
So Dust Chronicles is going to archive. I think Nathan's probably just going to stop at 6 if possible here. Because, I mean, Ronnie's still there. Too Much Protect is still there. Exhume Ronnie's still a play he can make.
He's got Merkins in hand, so
Got a
we're gonna
Gamgee.
see some hot Merkins action in a
I
moment.
like Merkins.
Here we go. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Whoa, that was he Merkins Floxen, which
Yeah.
actually would have been a real good draw for George. So that's good. For a brief moment there.
The problem is it puts him at 7, and it's highly likely George is going to run the Ronnie next turn.
It's true.
And he's got 3 Amber right now, right? As far as I can tell.
But if he rents out Ronnie next turn, there's going to be a creature on board to play.
It would be if he can get a hit with 9 command off. Dust Chronicles draws. Drew a Shadows card, it looked like. Drew Too Much Protect. Man.
I wonder if did you see if that was the card he drew?
It was.
Oh, jeez.
It was. So he goes to 6.
Oh, RNG not being kind to Nathan here.
Nathan does get to forge his first
He
key,
does.
though.
That's
That's
true.
big. So
He's going to need generosity pretty soon, I think.
he does have Game Jam board to stop the key. So that's good. Game Jam can stop his key.
Is he only on 6?
Yeah, he's only on 6.
Okay, so
as
that
far
is
as I can
good.
tell, unless there's one stacked on
So
that
that's
one.
probably the right play then.
It's very possible there's one stacked. Okay, no.
Though there is one stacked. Oh, no, there's not? No, there's not.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It's like the same color as the... We need a different colored
I
arc.
should have given him the Arbitz tokens.
Yeah, just give him like a black card.
Plays
Put it on.
Gamgee. What's that in his hand? Is it one more Shadows card? Nerve Blast?
Playing Nerf Blast, stealing an Amber.
I just use
Have to shoot something.
like
Doesn't really
Titan
Wallop
or something.
Yeah, Wallop is
He
fine.
does have Coward Zone, so I
Wallop
don't
is
think
probably,
that's ever getting played in this game, but he has.
No, probably not. Seems unlikely. Okay. So he
Discards
just
a bunch of
binned-
shadow.
He just binned all the discards.
Discards. Yeah, he did. It
He
was like 3
discarded
cards.
all the discards.
Huh.
Well, that's
That's something.
things you
think-
don't expect to see.
I think
Not
Nathan
necessarily
just
wrong,
Gets
but,
to 6 here. That's his plan. Signal fire.
but Nathan is now in the driver's seat, especially if he keeps cycling cards to try to get to generosity.
Bramo. Reap to 6. So he's seen Too Much Protect. He's seen 1 Ronnie.
Yep.
He has seen.
Are there 2?
There are 2 Ronnies in the deck
Okay.
and Exhume. He's not seen Exhume. He's not seen the other Ronnie.
Fair.
George
I
just
assume,
drew 3
I
cards.
assume one of the cards he binned wasn't Exhumed, but it could have been Exhumed.
I highly doubt he would have been Exhume.
I would
'cause he would've
tend to,
stopped him.
I would tend to agree, but I'm not sure. Maybe he would have been concerned about the Mars responses from Nathan.
Yes,
I don't
Nathan's
know.
looking through his deck right now. We can see.
That's Spider, Scullion on top, and then I didn't see the third
Go,
card
I
he
think
binned.
is what it was.
I think that was another Scullion. I think it was double Scullion Spider.
So he knows he's got the Ronnie play, he's got Exhume play, but he had to draw on one of those. The thing is, one Ronnie does not stop him from forging here. It just gives George 2 Amber.
Does not stop Nathan from forging it?
Right. 'cause
I
he'd
think
go to-
Nathan's at
if
6.
Nathan decides to go to 9 this
Oh, if
turn.
you're saying he goes to 9.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
he
he
just
goes
goes.
to 9.
Yeah, he's already seen the team TP. That's what he was verifying in discard. I think that's correct. And see now, Nathan is essentially saying, "Do you want to clear my board,
Come at me.
or do you want to do something about my Amber? Because
Yeah.
you probably can't do
He's going
both."
to play Mars. He's discarding a Think Drone. He is
Mother
going to
Gun,
play
playing a
Mindworm.
Mind Worm.
Mars first it.
Mind worming, all, that's very smart. So that's one thing that Nathan may want to pay attention to if this goes to game 3. Placement of placement of Gamgees
Yes, yeah.
to avoid the Mind Worm Mars first situation. That's happened twice so far. Like, happened in the first game. He Mind Wormed into something to kill a
Kill Gamgee and
Gamgee.
Dipno.
Yeah, so you want to not make it so you can kill both with the same one.
Logan is out, right?
Logan is out.
Yeah.
Logan lost to Alex. That was the All Archons of Atlanta quarterfinal.
Yep.
Alex is
call
playing
Brobnar, and
Brad.
he's going to reap up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 8. So one Ronnie will not stop him from forging here.
And remind me, if this goes to game 3, I will go over there and get an update
Okay.
on that match. But right now,
I think George is in a bad spot.
Nathan is on check for third key and looking very good here.
Yeah. Because Nathan's just going to force him to keep having answers. So
George
Ronnie
plays
takes
Ronnie.
2.
Okay, does he have some other solution?
Another Ronnie.
Yeah, well, useful.
That'll do it.
Useful. Okay, so he's on check for key 2, right, George?
Yes.
And I think Nathan just, TMTP still in discard?
Yes.
Is Brabner Reap, right? That's the play here?
I think so. Unless Nathan has an answer, that can go to 6.
What answers does George have to 10 Amber that aren't TMTP?
Yeah, especially with the Rise on the table.
Yeah,
I
nothing.
agree.
He could somehow Scullion, or he just discarded Scullion. He's Scullion Ronnie and Exuber, but that doesn't answer 10.
Nope.
Just literally just Reap 5 here.
Yeah, I think that's one.
Reap 5 pass, you win.
We'll see if Nathan can figure that out.
Yeah.
It's a lot different when you're sitting on the side of the table.
Yeah.
Figuring this. I think
Oh,
he did.
totally. Oh,
I think he
100%
did.
correct on that. I'm just saying that this is what I'm thinking. And he does.
Yep.
He does. He reaps 5. I think that's 100% correct. You've seen all the answers in that game. The other semifinal might have concluded.
It looks like Alex is winning. The Brad shaking his head.
I think. Well, we'll get confirmation on that in a moment. But
yeah, the Scullions are in the discard. At least one of them we
I
saw.
think, are they scooping? Yeah, he's scooping.
Yep. So
So Nathan
takes
has won game 2, even the match. I'm gonna be right back. I'll check on.
Wow. That was a very interesting game as well. Nathan still hasn't gotten a generosity combo off in either of these games. I mean, he played it one time for 10 cards, but that's not the best generosity his deck can do. So we could see that happen in the next game.
Okay, so I just got confirmation that Alex did win the other semifinal 2-0. So
2-0,
Alex
okay.
will be playing the winner of this pivotal in deciding game 3.
Very exciting stuff.
That's right. I will advance Alex in the bracket.
Sweet.
Top overall seed. Alex still not lost because he went 2-0 in that semi.
Yeah.
Alex has not lost a game
His
in
deck's
this tournament.
pretty good. It's
not
very
even a
similar
game.
to Nathan's in that it wins on the back of generosity, but the difference is he's got big Sanctum.
Oh, he has a generosity deck
got
too. I did not know
generosity,
that. Yeah,
But he's
that's
got huge board presence with Sanctum,
yeah.
which would stop the Brobnar combo. Ganger Chief Doom German combo on Nathan's
Yeah.
side.
Well, that'll be an interesting matchup if that happens. It'll also be an interesting matchup against George with his
board-wise.
total not caring about board presence.
Yeah, I really don't know who wins that because
Ah.
Alex is not used to playing against that kind of matchup. I mean, no one is.
No one is. It's not a thing that commonly existed AOA. So, some high drama here with what has turned out to be a very close matchup for completely different reasons than you would expect a very close matchup against a. If I told you before a round, if I showed you Nathan's deck, and then I told you before the round, Nathan is going to play a match. It's going to go to game 3. All games will be close. What deck is he playing? I don't think you would have come up with George's deck.
I don't think so either.
I definitely wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have either.
I would have assumed it's, it's like Brobnar, Sanctum, and Good Shadows.
And I don't know that I would have played George's deck in the way that he plays it.
Well, listen,
he
this
plays it
is
great, I think.
this is where there are certain decks that I don't want to say they're autopilot, but there are certain decks that that the decisions are generally pretty straightforward.
Yeah, play your cards.
But then there are decks where a different pilot who was handed George's deck day 1 could easily have gone 2 and 4 in this tournament.
For sure.
Because they would pilot it a different way and they would not get max value.
I'm gonna really back through real quick, so I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna leave you in Eric's capable hands.
Going to game 3.
Were you on? Oh yeah, okay.
I need any teams that have not signed up, I don't think there are any of you, to go ahead up and sign up. Otherwise, we do need the teams go into the table sheet on your table number. Each team when they pay should be given a table number 1, 2, 3, 4. Please go to table number 1, 2, 3, 4 with your team. And there is one team that paid that did not get a table number. I have a feeling your number is 3. All right, please go to your table number, and we will rock and roll this.
All right, Vince with some announcements. There's a side event going on that is a team sealed event. Sounds pretty fun, but we are here bringing you, the people, some good Keyforge action instead, which is equally fun. So I'm happy to do that. George going first or second is a good question. Let's count the number of cards in George's hand. I think I count 7, so I think George is going to go first because I see 7 cards in his hand, and otherwise he is violating the rules. So let's assume he's not doing that, and that he's going first. There is a loudspeaker. So there's a PA system. We're in a convention hall in Richmond, Virginia, the Richmond Convention Center. It does have a PA system. Vince was just making one announcement because he knew that they were between games in this match for the team tournament. Need that team prep Worlds. That is true. Yeah, I'm all about the team prep. However, it's sealed AOA, and I'm totally confident with having my experience yesterday being the last time I ever play a sealed AOA tournament. Totally fine. No hate on AOA. It's just not. I don't know. AOA and I have typically not agreed very well, but that's. Ben is across the table for me. Ben, previous top 8 and Vault Tour winner of the AOA sealed, says it's fine, but we can agree to disagree on that one. Anyway, we're here live. We're in Game 3. He's played Ganger Chieftain and Drummernaut on the table. I'm sorry, Rock Hurling Giant and Drummernaut. If he would play Ganger Chieftain, he would have 6 Amber now. And meanwhile, George is just cycling through some Shadows cards. Does not remove the board. So we are... Nathan didn't take what Signal Fire? Sorry, I don't know what you're saying, Chad. I think Nathan did take an Amber, but I thought George stole it. I might have missed that. Sorry, I was having this conversation about something else. I apologize. So we took TMTP, Gamgee, Nerve Blast. So clearly, by this line of play, Nathan does not have one of his 2 Ganger Chieftains in hand. The longer George... He discarded it for... Oh, right, Rock Hurling Giant. Yes, good call. Thank you all for One Gaming. So, George, I think if he has a gateway here, absolutely has to play it, because the longer he allows Nathan to have a Drummernaut on the board, the more dangerous it is. Because as soon as Nathan draws one of his 2 chieftains, it's like instant 5 Amber. Okay, so he's Flocksming. That kills the Rock Hurling Giant. It does not kill the Drummernaut, though. So,
What do we got?
basically, George played Shadows first turn, cycled through some cards. Nathan had a Rock Hurling Giant that cleared the board. He has a Drummernaut that he's had out for a couple turns. He has not found Chieftain yet.
But Blood of the Titans on the Drummernaut.
The Blood of Titans and the Drummernaut is great.
Pretty good.
George Floxant, he has not played a Gateway yet. And he's
he's counting now.
All right, so this is a sign that he has a chieftain in hand because, okay, so this is the danger of if George had an unlock gateway last turn and didn't play it. In my opinion, it was clearly, I mean, obviously looks like a mistake now, but at the time I was saying you can't let, when you know Nathan has 2 chieftains, you can't let the Drummernaut sit out there if you have any options whatsoever. Eric and AOA with yes, that's correct. I am occasionally disgruntled about AOA, but it's okay. That's not important. I'm happy to be casting this match because this is an extremely strategically interesting match with 2 very good players.
And it looks like his plan is just to go to 6.
He must have 2 chieftains because I think that's the only scenario where this makes sense. He didn't do anything with... Oh, he just readied it because it's not required to...
He just wants to go to 6.
Oh, well, that's very interesting. Do you agree with that play?
I think I do. Because of how
Because,
too much protect.
because of the danger of TMTP?
Ronnie, yeah. I think if he gets too much protected for as much as he could have generated on that turn, he might lose.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Especially if he doesn't have too
It's
much
the
protect to answer
really,
with.
the really interesting strategic considerations in this game. So he played Library, played Exhume. I'm assuming Exhuming a Ronnie.
Oh, he's got Ronnie a discard?
Or actually, no, he might not.
That's
he's
actually really
exhuming-
good if he doesn't, because that removes that play from potential future possibilities.
So he's Exhuming a Mind Warper. I assume... Oh, a fair game.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't see this in any of the previous.
Swindle.
It's the Swindle that's so bad.
Nathan's got 1 Shadows card in hand?
All right,
Okay.
so it's not as bad, but just hitting the Swindle. Swindle's a big card in this matchup, so... Scullion.
Yes. Oh, he's
Unlock
so
Gateway.
he did get one of that.
He didn't reveal his entire hand, though. Yeah,
Okay,
he's got
yep.
okay. Yeah.
And Ronnie. Okay.
Yeah, he has to reveal his entire hand so that he has that information.
Looks
so
like
he
Nathan's
knows
going
his-
to get this key then.
But
he's gonna lose his
but he's
board.
going to lose his board. It's unfortunate, but
I think that's fine. So Swindle's in the discard pile.
yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. That's a big hit off the fair game.
No Swindle Wars.
No swindle. Well, not well.
Not
These
yet.
decks cycled and had 2 swindle wars last game, so I would expect to see a possibility of swindle wars
Nathan
occurring in
needs
the
to flip his
future.
key. There we go. Okay. I don't know. You'd think if he's got generosity, he's just gonna slam it here, but he's not. He's not got
Well, so
generosity yet.
even if you slamming generosity here for like
I mean, not right
4
now.
is
No,
not
you,
right.
you
right.
build up to it. Yeah.
All right.
Ideally, he just might not have that line of play available to him. He might be considering a small generosity, which is tough because you got to get into something.
So it looks like he has at least 3, maybe 4 Mars cards in hand. A Shadows card, a Bravnar card, and maybe 4 Mars. So he's
I was
gonna
gonna call Shadows.
Dust Chronicles, draw a card. Hopefully not. Is that a Shadows card? No, he drew another Mars card. Yeah, that's most unfortunate. I don't know that I agree with that play because I think you want to play Mars cards to give yourself a chance to reap, and you draw more cards, and you give yourself a chance to reap into a huge generosity.
It's tough. It's tough.
It is a tough call, but I think that's probably what I would have done there.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this line works out.
I think that removes a lot of George's plays potential because of Nathan not having a board.
That's fair. So if he's anticipating, I mean, if you think your opponent might have a gateway, then making the gateway irrelevant. Probably the thing though is
clunk up the
it
hand a
just
little
makes them go into something other than this though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, or if they go into this, they just archive the gateway. So I don't know. There's a lot of
Mars.
I think you just got to figure that there's a chance that that's going to happen.
Mindworm, Think Drum. Mars first. Ready Reap.
I would consider. No, I guess not.
Drop your email on there. No worries, sir. I come to you now. You.
So Proliferator.
We try to be someone.
Okay.
Mars first.
Read for 2.
I'm sorry, that's Harvester. So this might be
Harvester.
this might be it.
Emails.
Is it time?
Well, does he have this?
Mars first, ready
If
Reap.
he has it now, is 100%.
So if he does have it, it makes more sense about the Dust Chronicles last turn, just getting him an extra amber.
Yes, that's fair. If he had it in turn, and
he does have it.
Okay.
So
So
he's
I
gonna
hadn't
draw.
considered that the other cards in hand from with Mars that I didn't see could be Mars first.
I didn't either.
Because then that makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense.
that was actually a lot of discipline to make that play then that turn.
All right, Nathan outsmarting both of us.
Yep,
and
as always.
Going to draw 18 cards, I believe.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The entire deck. Discard pile's still intact, which is very good news for him because he's still got a Mars first, I think. Or did he play both his Mars firsts? He played both his Mars first, right? To get up. He played both his Mars first, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that removes the Proliferator getting Mars Generosity played back out of possibility here.
Right.
But Hypnotic Command can still hit at least his
Yeah,
2
he
amber.
now has targets.
Yeah.
Only for 2, but still.
that's something.
That's
Could be
more than he's
important
hit
in this
for this entire match.
Absolutely.
So.
And he's got his whole deck in his hand, so that means too much to protect. That means Nerve Blast.
Yeah, Nathan in the driver's seat in this match now. Because he has all of deck except for
He doesn't have Drummer Combo, though. That's the thing.
7 or 10 cards. Yeah, that's true. So you really wish that you could. You really wish that you would have shot there to. So there's an argument
To not Mars first?
to save 1 Mars first.
Yeah.
There's an
but then
argument to
that's,
save
that's
1
6 less cards.
It's 4, right?
It's Mars first Amber and then 2 from the Harvester.
Oh, the Harvester. Yeah, so that's it's. I'd have to do the math. It's close.
Tough. And you give yourself
If you
more of a
had,
chance.
if you had Proliferator in hand beforehand,
Yeah, which
it's
he
an
did.
easy
Yeah,
decision. But
absolutely.
I agree. I don't think he did.
There's the Hypnotic Command. Puts 2 on the Mind
It
Worm.
would sound stupid if it was one of our events, but where was your previous on top of it?
And then Orbital Bombardment to explode them.
No, when we do that, we have to get confirmed through FFG because of course.
There's an argument just to kill the Mind Worm here.
He won. One or.
Then I don't think you get the top 8. You don't get the travel award. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, have you used the travel?
Mars needs Amber? Yes, for the Amber.
No, that's
Proliferator.
so it's second through 8. Yeah. And the first
I think that's
one's
pass.
the bigger one.
So we have to assume George has a gateway here. It looks like he
That definitely is what he's
Does?
suggesting.
Yeah.
The line of play.
Skull or Spider.
Spider.
Spider. And unlock.
Now finish
or
with you to
probably
shuffle.
shuffling Ronnie's in.
Are the Ronnies in discard?
At least one, right? I know. Well, one's in his hand. So no.
I don't think
shuffle.
they are because
No
he didn't
shuffle.
shuffle anything. So this is now going to be a battle of answers.
Archiving.
You made no sense as I was walking over. If you got
So Nathan does not have the Ganger Chief in his hand because of
so you're gonna get that $45
the earlier gateway that wiped him off the table.
I walked over, I'm like, wait, so even if I win or I wouldn't travel to when I still prepare for the event? No. Alright, that makes sense. I don't need to be confusing, but when we're redeeming from other companies.
I think if he has gateway here, it's a pretty easy decision, so he might not have it.
Yeah, I
Which
think
puts
the
him in a
hesitation.
very bad position.
It's extremely bad. Because if he can't, so I mean, he
Okay, so it did pass turn to Nathan. So Nathan's gonna archive
oh
the
he didn't.
generosity.
Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't. Did he not? He just played Spider and didn't
Yeah.
and passed. Oh, that's
That may be the game.
that's game.
Yeah,
That's 100% game.
because this letting him generosity every single turn now for a lot.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna generosity next turn.
Next turn.
Like
but he's
I
got
assume.
it.
I
He's
assume.
always got it now, and he's about to reach
Well,
full
except
deck.
right. I assume you hit.
Yeah.
I assume you gateway now. If he gateways now, he can only do generosity once, but it still is not going to matter. He's
So he
on check
decided
anyway.
to only go to 6. He did not Reaper the Harvester to go to 8. It's because he knows he has Ronnie.
And he's basically saying,
I think he knows he probably has 2 Ronnies too.
Well, right, but if you want to play Ronnie and take me off 5 and let me generosity for 10 or more,
that's
or
fine.
more,
Yeah,
like,
more than that.
I'm
This is
down.
his entire deck. I think.
Like,
Yeah,
sign,
it's his deck.
sign me up, right?
So Ronnie's are very bad plays to sit on the board for George now forever. He does have Life for a Life. I was trying to think of other ways. He has Nerve Blast.
I mean, you might.
So he can't even play his Ronnies unless they can die.
Does he not have? If he has Gateway, Gateway is still probably his optimal play here.
Yeah.
Because
That's the only way to keep yourself in the game, I think.
Right, you allow Nathan to forge, and he turns his generosity into like maybe a 1 or 2 amber generosity. So you really need a gateway. If you don't have a gateway here, I think you basically just lose. And you might lose anyway because you've got almost the entire deck in hand.
Yeah, but you have to consider that it's like all Shadows cards are in his hand. All the rest of his Brobnar cards are in his hand.
Yeah.
90% chance to lose based on ESPN metrics. I can't argue with that.
ESPN metrics.
Yeah, I think Nathan's in a good spot right now. So this is it. I mean, this is game 3
Yeah.
to go to the finals to face Alex, aka Lord of Winter.
Ronnie for 1. He does play the Ronnies.
Double Ronnie. Okay, that's great for Nathan, especially if they don't die here.
Yeah.
They're getting Hypnotic Commanded for a lot.
Yeah.
So Nathan's gonna like count his discard pile to see how many cards he has to, how big his Merchant Generosity
So,
is
I
gonna
mean,
be.
the calculation for George is very rough either way, but I think George might be saying, like, at least this prolongs the game another turn. Like, it's hard to see, like,
It's very.
because if your generosity for not, like, I guess you get the
He's
gain
gonna
or
make
not
it.
combo.
He's gonna make it his whole deck.
Yeah, there's no
gonna make
good,
it.
there's no good universe in which
So
this
he
makes.
is using the Harvester to go 6.
Yeah. I just keep, reap again.
He's gonna reap. Let's go to 7
Yeah. Reap, go to 8.
to 8.
You don't even need 8. In fact, actually, that may be a bad play.
He
doesn't-
counted first, so I have to assume
He
he's
counted discard?
specifically drawn.
Okay, well then never
exactly
mind.
the number.
As long as he counted discard, that's fine.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Exactly 18. So he needed 9
Okay, so
exactly.
he did that.
He specifically did that.
Did he get one amber for
He
the
did.
card?
He did.
Okay, all right. So he did the math correctly.
Yep.
I don't know why I would ever assume that he didn't do the math correctly.
He's played a March
Clear-
Generosity or 2.
Clearly an error on my part.
He just flips and puts it in his hand.
Yeah. He's like, hi, now I have entire
This
deck.
is the one situation where you can take your discard pile and put it in your hand.
Yes. Yes, that is
Without offering it to your opponent first.
that's correct.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's
You gotta laugh.
It's accurate.
Okay, so he's gonna play Hypnotic Command to put the 2 amber that George had onto his Ronnie. A 3 amber, looks like.
Because he's got 4 Mars creatures, yeah.
Or bombardment.
Bombardment for revealing 2 cards. That's all you need.
Yeah, to kill both Ronnies.
Yep.
There's an argument to leave 1 Ronnie alive.
What's that?
I think there's an argument to leave 1 Ronnie alive. 1 Ronnie.
For use of Hypnotic Command in the future,
Yeah.
given that he's not likely to call shadows. You're actually right. That's actually pretty... So that's kind of an auto play there to kill both Ronnies. I mean, I guess you figure this is just going to keep happening, but...
Oh, it's definitely happening. It's going to be
Proliferate
almost impossible.
Now you just rush to archive the bombardment.
March 1st?
Or Martian Generosity, that's fine.
He already got the Generosity earlier in the
Sorry,
turn.
the Hypnotic Command. I was thinking he would archive the bombardment. It doesn't really, none of this, it's totally irrelevant. Like, this is all,
pretty
this is superfluous. I mean, granted, he's only on 1 key, so like very weird things can happen, but I don't really think that that's...
Has too much Protect been played? I think it has not been played. Even still. That would have been another argument to keep Ronnie alive, but Ronnie then wouldn't just run into his guy. The question is, does he have the Nerve Blast to follow that up? Yes, he does.
He does. Interesting.
But he does not. Oh, he does get enough to threaten. That's 6 there.
Interesting. Well, Nathan has
He might just call
literally-
Shadows.
He has literally all the
He
options.
does it every option. He's going to call Mars.
Literally all the options.
He's going to call Mars again and run it back, looks like.
I don't know that I would... do you push... Like, you need to get keys at some
You
point.
do need to get keys.
You can't allow him the chance to... Yeah.
He's going high.
Now
he's got
that you've seen TMTP, I think you just go.
Yep. He's going to get as much as possible now. Seven, 2 for the Harvester, to 9.
Yeah, you just
and
go.
1 for the Shockworm, to 10.
Now it gets real interesting if... Never mind. I was going to say it gets real interesting if George can find a way to get to 6 next turn, but then I remembered Nathan has literally all cards in his hand.
He does have all cards, including too much to protect Nerve Blast.
And
so,
a Nerve Blast, yeah. So it makes no difference.
So I think that was correct by Nathan, to just go big.
Oh, yeah. Once you see the TMTP? Yeah.
You're going.
Yeah.
George wishes he had his entire deck in his hand.
He does.
I wish that every game of Keyforge. Rarely does it happen.
I'm telling you, Maverick Old Boomy. That's my dream.
Was George supposed to
If Worlds
forge there?
collide, the Maverick Old Boomy.
Or did he only have 5 amber? I was thinking he had 6 amber.
I thought he had 6 amber too.
So no,
he just
only
played
had 5.
Swindle.
He did just play Swindle.
Oh,
So that makes
well, that's even worse.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Then.
Yeah,
We both, I think, thought he was going to forge there.
But even if I think the play is correct by Nathan, even if
Oh,
he was going to forge, because
100%.
like assuming that George can generate 8 amber with, 6 amber with 6 random cards out of this deck is
If
extremely
Nathan
unlikely.
can forge with or threaten with shadows, yeah, I think the 200 protect here is
TMTP,
good.
yeah, that's Nerve
So he gets
Blast.
those 2
Keep him
still
off. You just keep him off second. You play the safety move. Just keep
Yeah.
him off second key.
He's going to go to 6 here probably. He's going to go.
He
Province
has,
Eyes
yeah,
if
because he
can.
has Chronicles, right? He should play Chronicles now. Oh wait, never mind. He
No, he
Nerve
wants to
Blast.
archive,
Then he can play.
Yeah.
Then he can play Chronicles. That's fine. Well, drawing a card is interesting, but like it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't really do anything. Well, I guess you could get back
Yeah,
Nerve Blaster, 200 protect, so
Yeah.
that's something. Yeah, good
yeah,
game.
that's it.
Nathan
And that is the
wins.
game. Congratulations to Nathan. A
Nathan
very well fought match.
Battled
Close
back.
match.
It
Very
was close.
match.
It was really close. I mean, it came down to draw order that first game. Draw order mattered a lot. Second game, and it was still close that second game.
I mean, I think that's
George has got some sneaky plays in his deck. It's really
that was. I mean, listen, like that's you talk a lot. I think I talk a lot about like the ceiling of people
Mm-hmm.
beating at tournaments, and who knows, like if Nathan draws poorly in game 3, like George's ceiling is a little higher, but like you got to feel with George, the way George played that deck, he got absolute max value out of that deck in this tournament. Like, so
I
hats
1000% agree.
off to
Yeah,
him.
no, great
right?
job. Very well played. We'll probably get Nathan over here. He wants to talk about his deck, I'm sure.
Absolutely,
I can see
yeah,
it in
I'll get him-
in
I'll
his
get him
hand
over here so
gestures.
you could-
I'll
yeah,
let you
yeah.
talk.
You talk.
I talk to Nathan all the time.
All right. I mean, that's fair.
Constantly go talk to Nathan.
All right. Tell me you didn't want to talk to me anymore.
Yeah, that's fine.
until we worked out a swap.
Yeah. I'm gonna fix the camera now. Okay, yeah, George did an awesome job. In both the games I played against him, he played his deck pretty much perfectly in a way that I could not possibly win. So, but yeah, we're gonna get Eric in here to talk to Nathan a little bit about how that game went. I'll put it on our camera just so you can see. Hey guys, what's up? Is that our TCR shirt? Okay, we'll be right back.
On the games I played, but bad match. Despite me having it's actually great. But no, but it will be interesting. He has plenty of stuff.
No, I think it'll be
Does he
screen.
draw Martian Generosity first? Who does he get his?
This is the generosity on generosity
Yeah,
madness.
Ganger Chieftain and Drummer Not out first before he can get removal. First up.
I opened it correctly.
It works. Why'd you do that? You don't like the ends? Okay.
Because I got this, like,
The little
hits
nub.
in them. Yeah. I don't like the nub. Nub.
Yeah. Whatever. Well, I think I'm going to be heading home. So
Alright,
nice
well,
seeing you guys.
Very good to see you again.
Yeah.
As always, you're coming to me.
Yep, I'll be
Where are
there.
you based? Okay, so yeah, definitely. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's not the girls, obviously.
They gave me a thing. Okay, so you get to go for the next. I want it on Indy.
Indy, yeah.
Cash it in right now. Oh yeah, you get that $45. Yeah.
$15 free value.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's why I do one for here.
yeah, I use one for here too. Use my origin one for here. So yeah, I will see you guys there where worlds collide just blows everyone's brains up. So I don't. Yeah, right. Who gets? Oh my gosh. Yeah, because there are double anomalies. Yeah, confirmed now. Yes. So it should be a lot of fun. But thank you guys, everything. You know,
Definitely, man.
Good job.
Congrats,
I'm looking forward to
yeah.
doing that. So.
Definitely.
And, yep. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Playing around it and you don't have it. I'm like, okay, I'll make that play again. You don't have it, and then I win. And I was like, okay. So I guess I can have it. Yeah. Right. So I feel like my Gamgees are really important. You can like nerf blast and smoke them, but I feel like the Gamgees don't make command or play themselves because you like just pile in your hammer card, and I can like use the Gamgees to kind of control on the board, and then I can save the powerful actions. Right. Because I feel like it's good to play their most powerful actions first. Because like we had a lot of similar stuff.
Nathan's in like chat mode. He's talking to his opponent, so I'm just gonna turn on the Brio mic, so you can just hear what they're talking about. You probably missed a lot of good chatter, but here you go. You should be able to hear him now. It was really good. There's the final still coming up between Alex and Nathan. It's gonna be Martian Generosity grudge match to the extreme. I haven't actually seen Alex's deck in action. I don't know what Alex is capable of.
With a judge is like sweating.
This is Degenerate as Nathan's going to see a really interesting game here.
I kind of figured once you drew your whole deck, I was
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
there's
So,
no, because you're playing around me too, so it's like, and I'm never going to be able to do it.
Right. Once I have the full deck in my hands, I feel like I cannot lose
Yeah.
because my Shadows has too much to protect. You could gain
an infinite amount of amber, like an arbitrarily large amount of amber. It doesn't matter because I get too much to protect you, and then I've got the nerve blasts, so I can like keep you off that. So I know if I get the whole deck in my hands, the game is over. It's over. I have the backup plan at that point is drummer not Ganger Chieftain.
Right.
If like they somehow answered the Mars stuff, they somehow answered the Shadow stuff,
Then you have back.
then I got that. Yeah. Now typically I would lead off with the drummer not Ganger Chieftain combo. I realized that you didn't have the Ronnie, so you couldn't exhume him.
Right.
And you were going to have to unlock Gateway. And I probably should have rolled for 6 myself there, but I didn't want to get like too much protected too badly.
Right.
So,
And that was the other problem. I drew Exhume in the
And
two
the wrong
second
order.
games in the first and had no
but from-
Ronnies.
yeah.
And then it's like, do you hold it? Do you, what do you do? Do you just get the amber and roll?
Right. Hope you draw back through the deck and get it again.
Yeah. But good game.
Yeah,
Luck in
good
the
game,
final.
dude. Yeah.
That was
Yeah. I'm gonna leave. Do you care if I just leave the tokens?
Yeah, that's fine. There's somewhere to store this.
Yeah.
I want to interview you because I have very many interesting questions about the deck and everything.
Let me turn off the breather.
Oh yeah, so hold on, fix the.
Okay, you're good.
Thanks. Hey, so we're here with George. How do you pronounce your last name?
Spake.
George Spake.
Yep.
And let me say, first of all, congratulations on making top 4.
Thank you.
I haven't done it yet. It's so as a personal thing, I know it's a major accomplishment.
Yeah.
And I'm very respectful of you getting this far in the tournament. One of the things I respect the most about your play, though, is the way you played this deck.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you determined how you wanted to play this deck.
So, for me, it was interesting. So this was my first Vault tour. It's
Really?
really my
Okay.
first competitive experience.
Really?
In a long time.
Okay.
So
I would have never guessed that.
I came into it, and I also didn't really have a full understanding of every card that was out there. So
Okay.
when I was playing against decks, it kind of some stuff I had to figure out along the way.
Yeah.
Figure out how things were going. And for me, I realized that the deck that I had gotten for sealed, that you could essentially play around just letting your opponent get you the amber.
Right.
So a lot of times when I had creatures on the board earlier in the tournament,
Right.
it went badly.
Right.
Creatures were purged like Ronnie,
Right.
or you would they'd sit there and they wouldn't really do anything, and
Right.
then my opponent would be able to use fight effects and hurt my field of play, like Brobnar, the fight, lose one. I had that happen a couple times, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just better if I don't play creatures.
Yeah.
Because I have nothing in my deck that rewards me for having a board state
When did you
whatsoever.
start doing that?
I'd say it was probably around middle of game 2 when I realized it.
Okay.
Because in game 2, I got about halfway through the game without having any board state, and I had like a key and 4 amber, and my opponent had nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe this is good because they had stuff for a board state, but it had to fight, it had to do stuff.
Right.
I'm just like, well, unless there's no real punishment, there's no punishment for them reaping, doing any of that stuff, because I can steal it back.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the point where it just kind of clicked for me that with this deck, and for the way I knew the game at the time, it'd be better to just kind of play my own game, sit back, and kind of minimize the amount of complexity for myself.
Yeah, and I mean, I gotta tell you, that, and you said you have minimal previous competitive card experience.
The last time I've played cards competitively was pretty much elementary school.
Okay, so
recently, not much experience.
I think it's entirely possible that the process you've described, having the minimal. I'm not criticizing by any means,
Right.
but I'm just saying put it in context. Having the minimal card playing background that you have, that's
Yeah.
one of the most impressive things I've seen at any Keyforge tournament.
Well, thank you.
Because figuring that out about your deck early on and doing something that at least especially in AOA is exceedingly counterintuitive.
Right.
When you know board is usually very important, and figuring out that that's the way you pilot that deck.
Right.
That deck can't be piloted any better than that.
Right.
So that's the getting to semifinals with that deck. And I was mentioning on stream earlier, if you have a different player, any random other player open that deck who doesn't come to the realization you come to, they usually just go 2 and 4 with the deck because because they play out the cards and they get victimized by the steal, and that's an exceptionally prescient thing for you to realize. Like, that's very impressive. And it's just like, it goes to show you that, like, there's all sorts of skill level in Keyforge, and maximizing unusual deck construction,
Right.
playing in a way that's counterintuitive, but having the guts to play in a way that can be scary if you know what you're trying to do, but it's still very, like, you look down a board like that. Obviously you've done that in earlier rounds against big boards, so you have more comfort at this level. But doing that when you go X2 and you're out of a tournament on day 2, day 1, excuse me, when you go X2, just losing 2 rounds, and having the courage to do that is to me, it's an incredible feat. Like, I want to commend you for that. That's absolutely amazing.
And my journey, I guess, has been a little unique because I actually lost my first game. Out the gate. So I was 0-1 with this deck. In my first tournament, I was just like, well, let's see how it keeps rolling. I expected to go 3-3. Didn't really expect to make it this far.
Right. Well,
and
listen.
then, once it got rolling and I kind of had the feel for it. And that's the fun thing about Keyforge, too. The decks are, 36 cards.
Yeah.
So, if I get the 3 unlocked gateways that I had, I'm figuring that, every maybe 2 to 3 turns, if I can kind of burn through my hand, that I will be able to clear the board state. So there were a lot of games that I played where I let my opponent kind of play out the board, and even reap, because I was able to steal it back and then just blow the board up and kind of start fresh every time.
I mean, you definitely taught me a couple things with that match, because my initial instinct when I saw your deck list was you have 3 gateways. I go, that's a lot of anti-synergy in terms of, like, you don't want them clumping in your hand, but you have a library, you can archive one if you need to, and, like, playing in a way that maximizes that, like where you're board clearing in order to, like, as a utility, and you don't care whether you have board states, so the gateways, you want more of them, right? Like, you would probably be okay with the way you play that deck if you had 4 gateways, right? Probably not, like, more than that, but so that's just congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, that's an exceptional achievement. You planning on attending any future Vault Tours?
Yeah, I'm hoping to be at Philly.
Okay, PAX,
so...
PAX will be great. PAX is a double Vault Tour, so I mean, listen, I look forward to playing you there. You're gonna be starred on my list of people that I have to be wary of on all days. So I really appreciate. Yeah, no, congratulations. Where are you based out of?
Central Pennsylvania.
Central Pennsylvania. Okay, cool. And you play in any local game stores there?
Unfortunately, we don't really have anything game store wise within a reasonable driving distance. It's about 50 minutes to the closest one that has events and stuff like that. We're very rural.
Gotcha.
So usually it's these big events and then playing with my friends.
Absolutely. So. Well, listen.
What are the other 2 decks that you got?
What?
How did deck selection go?
Oh yeah. So real briefly, like what other
land on that deck?
Did you turn down any other decks that to the rest of us may look more enticing? Because you said you came to the realization on this deck after round 1, like sometime in round 2. So what sort of decks did you turn down in your deck selection process?
There was one deck that it had, I believe it was like less than 10 printed amber. It didn't have anything to me that felt like good synergies. It was able to create a board, but I kind of felt that if I have to do that, I'm going to run into people that have combos that know what they're looking for and know how to just, overcome that very easily. So I was like, okay, don't really like that. And then there was another deck that instead of Dis, I believe it had Untamed. And again, it had a decent Untamed minion list to me, but it was another one where, for me, coming into this tournament, for the first time in a while, I wanted something as easy as possible.
Right.
I wanted to just come in and be like, okay, here's my strategy, here's what I'm going in with. I don't want to be thinking about what my opponent has. I just want to think about what am I doing and how can that get me to my victory condition.
Gotcha.
And so I put the Untamed aside because I just didn't want to have to deal with that this tournament. And then with this one, I saw the Exhume. I saw the card to bring back any minion or creature
not finished with you.
Not finished with you. So I saw 2 of those, and I'm like, well, I have the Ronnies. When I've played against Shadow, I know the stealing is, something that kind of can be frustrating to play against because they're not really doing anything on the board, but they're taking your amber that you worked really hard to make.
Steal on a stick is pretty good.
So then I figured, okay, well, if I can play the deck right, I can pretty much get Ronnie 5 or 6 times before I get through my deck, and I figured that's enough with the printed amber I have to just kind of get a win condition as long as I play it right.
And then as you played, you discovered the unanticipated complexity and nuance of,
Yeah.
I mean, this is the beauty of Keyforge.
Yeah.
Even with only 36 cards, even though we know all the 36 cards because we know all the cards in the set beforehand.
Right.
We don't know what 36 cards. We know
Yep.
we know of them.
Yep.
Even with only 36 cards, to find that sort of play, I've never seen a deck at a high level of Keyforge. In sealed anyway, at least in AOA sealed, I can't think of one that's wanted to play that way.
Yeah.
Deliberately discarding stuff intentionally and with benefit is just really impressive.
Thank
so
you.
congratulations
Thank
to you.
you.
We look forward to seeing you
Appreciate
in
it.
future tournaments. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to or
Just shout out to my friends that helped me play Keyforge, and looking forward to PAX.
yes, definitely. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Seriously, that was really impressive.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll be back with the finals in just a minute. Hang tight.